Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and today I would like to share with you guys my final thoughts on the Kubey knives. Jeez, I can't even properly pronounce that without, stumbling over my words. Kind of weird name. Titus? Titus. We're gonna call it the Titus to not encourage our inner child calling this the titanium titty. Cole from Tri-State EDC, everybody on his live chat, they were talking about this knife a while back and they were calling it the titanium titty. That's basically what it is, but honestly that's a little inappropriate. Whatever, not a big deal. We're all children at heart anyway. So yes, the Titus or the titanium titty, that's what we're going to be calling this for the remainder of this review. This knife, I did not purchase it directly from Kubey or Amazon, the typical places where you can buy Kubey knives. I actually got this from kind of a sketchy website called Knives Global or something like that. I got it for $95. This is a lot of knife, like a lot of knife for $95. Now, they raised their price a little bit. Not by much. Still highly recommend it. You're probably better off getting it directly from Kubey. It's 125 bucks. Even still, I highly recommend it. The materials that they're using here, the fit and finish, it is just incredible. So they're using 6AL4V titanium, 14C28N for the blade material, which is wonderful at that price point. Zero complaints. It is definitely heavily contoured. All the little components are also titanium. You have a bent titanium clip that is anodized. All the hardware is T8, also anodized. Polished decorative pivot here at the front. It's nice and clean. Also the other side for adjustment, it's also T8. It's wonderful. Two little standoffs, no backspacer. That's okay. I don't root. Those are also titanium. And just looking at this thing, there is micro milling all over the place, and it is super incredible in hand. It feels like there's no way in hell this is a $100 knife. That is not possible. This is just, that was an error or something. It had to have been, because this is just stupid wonderful for that price. Now, even still, 125 bucks, zero complaints. I wouldn't mind having to pay that then. Some specs directly off of Kubey. Overall length is 8.15, blade length is 3.39, so just be a little cautious about your local knife restrictions and stuff like that. We were talking about blade material. Their hardness, they have here recorded between 58 and 60. Could be a little bit better, right? We always want to, want things a little bit harder, but not that big of a deal. Bead blast on the blade. Fully flat ground. It says ambidextrous here, but clearly it is not, because you cannot mount the clip on the other side. So that is definitely an error that they really should take care of, because I know people want a reason to complain about anything. So country of origin, China, and of course they make their own stuff, Kubey. There are 5 variations available of different anodization colors. I got the most basic looking one. It's all silver, with clip and hardware pieces blue. There is a full green, which is beautiful. A lot of people have been getting that one. There is a purple with gold accents, and there is a darker anodized blue with this same blue anodization hardware and clip. And then there's also one that was going to be one that I really wanted to get, but I also wanted to be able to have some wiggle room to do my own anodization. They have a variation with flame ano, so heat anodization on it. It looks like the stuff that We Knife Co does, but I kid you not, at a third of the price. If We Knife Co were to make this exact knife, and instead of it saying Kubey there and it says We, this would cost at least like $225, $250. Even if it was 14C28N, but we all know that We Knife Co is doing a lot of 20CV. So if they were to bump up the blade material, The same construction, same build, same fit and finish. This is honestly a $300 knife from Wee. With how they've been doing their pricing on some of their stuff, yikes, yeah, $300. And I've handled enough Wees to know that this is almost an equivalent of their fit and finish. So yeah, that's just my little 2 cents on that. Agree on it or, you know, disagree. I'm sure plenty of you will, you know, have your opinions in the comments, and feel free to share them, of course. 5 ounces, not a brick in my opinion for the size of the knife. This is a full-size knife for sure. Let's do some full-size comparisons here. We have the Wee Praxis. There's that. We have a Demco 80-20.5. Definitely makes that Demco look quite small. Let's do some Spyderco's. We have a PM2 right up here. A beautiful Native 5. 2 more here. Of course, ooh, fumbled on that. Let's just still roll it out. Benchmade Bug Out, Urban EDC Supply F5.5. So hopefully all these knives help you guys get a good visual representation of what this is all about. And yeah, that's it. Let's get into the rest of this review. This thing is excellent, and I've already stated multiple times, go get it. Just don't hesitate. This thing is wonderful. The fit and finish on it is incredible. The way that they've knocked down even this channel here for the exposed frame lock, all this in here is knocked down. That's wonderful. The centering is perfect. It is flush mounted with the hardware. Those screws are T6, but you're not going to interact with them much, especially because it is only for right-handed carry, unfortunately. T6, also titanium, not that big of a deal. Goes in and out of the pocket wonderfully. The clip itself is not a hot spot at all. It is very well rounded, super comfortable in hand. You can creep up a little bit, but I would suggest just right past the first little digit there. Any more and you're asking for trouble there. Again, as the specs suggested, this is a full flat grind. There is kind of like this little decorative piece right here, but you can't really access that. It's really just the hole, and the hole deployment is actually excellent. Now the frame lock itself is a little sensitive, so you'd of course want to stay off of that just a little bit. The action is incredible. You have caged ceramic bearings, a ceramic detent ball, and it is all constructed quite wonderfully. Side to side, nothing up and down, nothing. Any movement within the pivot, just a tiny bit. Like you really have to muscle it, and even then you're not really going to notice it when it comes to deploying this thing. The detent is nice and tight, super snappy. I haven't really had to adjust it. From what I remember on my unboxing of this was definitely on the tighter side. It has loosened up a little bit, and while it does have an over travel stop with that hardened steel insert there, I did take it apart to just, I don't know, just to take a look at how everything was set up. I know with Wee, when they do their hardened steel inserts, they pressure fit them so much so that you have to take another like set of pliers or something to pry them out. I don't suggest that at all. Just don't mess up your knife. But this, it popped right out. It's very easy to clean around it. I did a cleaning right before the review. It needs to be sharpened. I have been using it a lot. It is an incredible slicer. Of course, super tall blade, extremely thin behind the edge, relatively common, maybe on the thinner side of blade stock, and not a super delicate tip, but it does come to a nice working tip there. It's not the lowest drop point, but you can definitely get to it, and I have actually been taking this to work a little bit. So I do definitely prefer something more on the utilitarian blade shape. So this being a, you know, middle height of drop point, it's not something that I use a whole lot, but I do definitely prefer something that is a lot lower of a drop. I do definitely prefer something that is a lot lower of a drop point, but this is still an excellent user of a knife. And on that, there really isn't a whole lot more that I have to say about this thing. Do I have any complaints? Definitely not anything with that price, that's for sure. I wish maybe the hole was a little bit sharper, not by much, just a little bit. The jimping on this flipper tab, it's ass. Honestly, it's not that great. You have to be all the way up on it to where you basically rest your finger on this portion of, you know, this of the actual scale itself, and you know, then it's fine. But if you're anything below that, the jimping is so light and so soft that you slip off of it continuously, and it gets a little frustrating. But definitely reverse flick, thumb flick, it's something a little bit, for me, that's a little bit more preferable. I would have definitely suggested to use the jimping that they have here just for traction when you choke up, because this is wonderful. This is nice, meaningful, not super sharp and annoying, but also not light and pointless. I wish they put this type of jimping right there. And honestly, this could be a very easy fix if you had like a very like micro filing kit, possibly maybe something the jewelers would use. You could get in between each and every one of those and just kind of sharpen them up a little bit, not by much. But that's really the only little issue I have with this. If anything, majority of the time when I'm flipping this thing, I don't use the very tip of my index. Well, you can, and it might just be me, right, with my frail little fingers, right? But typically I am a little further back up on, you know, this portion of my index finger, and I'm able to get a little bit more purchase around it and just get it out like that. That's me. That's really the only little nitpick, and honestly, it's not a well justified nitpick. So, you know, on that note, this is a pretty perfect knife, and it is quite wonderful. Cole, Tri-State EDC, if you're watching this, man, I am planning to send this to you, but before I do, of course, I'm going to clean it, and I'm going to put an edge on it because, yeah, it's I've used it a lot, like a lot. It's a wonderful knife to use, but I will be sharpening this up and putting a sick edge on it before it gets to you. Do what you want with it, use it, you know, just don't beat it into the ground. I know you're not going to, but yeah, do your review, do your comparisons. If you can, if you have some time, could you actually do a little side by side with Koenig Arius? I think that would be quite wonderful. I had an opportunity to buy one not that long ago from JD for EDC. He was selling one. Oh man, that thing was just beautiful, but I didn't have the money for it at the time. Unfortunately, I'm not made of money, but if you can do a little side by side, because a lot of people have been commenting on other people's reviews and content showing off this knife, that this looks quite similar to a Koenig Arius, which I can see, you know, where they get that from, but I'm not gonna say copy. I'm not encouraging that at all, but there are some, it's a very similar silhouette, right? So full size, you know, broad drop point knife, micro milling all over the place, incredible action. But of course there are going to be some major differences. Koenig Arius is made in the US. This is not, it's made in China, but you know, Koenig Arius starts at what, $800 or something like that. It's a good chunk of money for one of those knives, and rightly so. They are beautiful. But this floats around $100. So if you can, I'd appreciate that. But yeah, I'll be sharpening this up and sending it off to you. And with that being said, I will be linking down what I can in the description. I highly recommend this. It is a wonderful knife to just fidget with and of course use. And that's pretty much it. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like down below. Leave your comments, share what you would like to share in the comment section. Let's chat. If you are subscribed, I most definitely appreciate all you guys' support and your patience, of course. It is super freaking hot where I live right now, and my phone is continuously having heat warnings. So you guys are probably gonna see little breaks here and there in the video. I apologize for that. But again, thank you for your patience. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and stay cool out there, please. It's hot.